All right, folks, now we're going to take a look on that first problem. Now we're going to actually take a look at the documents themselves. So we're going to start out here with the 1040. So as you can see, this first part here shouldn't be no big deal here. This is, filling out the name, social security number, address, and all that. Then we see right here, she's single, okay? She doesn't have any digital assets, okay? Doesn't have any kids. Doesn't get additional standard deduction because blindness or old age. So the first one, this income amount right here, this is from her W-2 that was given, okay? Now that comes down, there's all these other items here, but we don't have any of those. So that comes down to 1Z. And then notice here, here's that interest. There's the $2,200 in interest, taxable interest. And then we got those ordinary dividends. Now how this normally works with software, okay? We started here, we put this in, but you would not go to the 1040 and pop this in here. What you would do, because it goes on Schedule B, you would go over here and see, pull up Schedule B, and there's Old Bank, there's that interest, and then down here, there's those ordinary dividends, and then it's going to wind up taking this, and notice, add the amounts online, put it here, enter the total here, and on form 1040 and 1040 SR on line 3B, and this one over here on line 2B. And when we go back over to the 1040, when you fill this out, it'll bring that information right here, 2B and 3B, okay? Now we also have that information about her deductions. Now it looked like she was going to be able to itemize, right? So let's go over, let's get these schedules done, because this information flows over here to the 1040, okay? So we go here to Schedule A, all right? And again, her information up here at the top. And then these, you were given all these numbers right here. State and local taxes, income taxes, she had some real estate tax. So right now she's at $6,000 and change. Then she had that mortgage interest of $12,300, okay? And these two added together come to $18,365. Well, as a single person, if I remember correctly, and I think I have it, I think married filing jointly for 2023 was like $27,700. So that means $13,850 for a single person. So she's definitely going to want to itemize, right? And so notice what it tells you here. It says, add the columns at the far right. Also enter this on form 1040 or 1040 SR line 12. So you would put that, you would fill this form out, and that software would go and it'd flip right back over here to 1040, and it would go over here to line 12, and it would go boop, and pop it in right there, okay? Now we also know that we have a Schedule C, okay? So the Schedule C, that's that consulting business she has, right? So you click on this Schedule C right here, and again, there's her name, social security number. She has a consulting business, okay? It says if you don't have a separate name, just leave it blank. She uses the cash basis of accounting. Then it asked about any form 1099 if you had to fill out. The answer is no. So here's her revenue. There's that 53. That's her revenue. She didn't have any returns and allowances. She didn't have any cost of goods sold because it's a consulting business, right? So there's no product per se. It's her work. Now, if you take a look, remember she had 2,500 miles? Well, if you take 2,500 miles, and I think it's times 65.5 cents, you will get $1,638. That's where this came from. She didn't have any other automobile expenses, okay? Now, the depreciation in Section 179, that was $3,300, okay? $3,300, that's gonna go over here, and we're also gonna have to fill out the 4562. She had $500 in supplies, and then she had other expenses, and those other expenses, that was the cell phone. And the reason why that goes down on the other, it's because they don't have cell phone here. I suppose you could have put that in utilities, but whatever. But if you put it on other expenses, they want to go down there. All right, so the bottom line, there's the total expenses. So the tentative profit or loss is $46.62, okay? And it says, if a profit, enter on both Schedule 1, Form 1040, and line 3 on Schedule SE. So, see this number right here? That thing will go over to Schedule 1, So let's go over here to Schedule 1. There we are, and notice we filled out that form, and what did it do? It populated right here. Let's see what else we have on here. Okay, now, so this is here, this is on the Schedule 1, all right? Now we also know that we had to fill out this 4562. Okay, the 4562, this is about depreciation, okay? You see this number right here? That's the limitation on the Section 179. So notice, how much was the Section 179 she put in? $3,300. That's this item right here, okay? Now when you go down, right, it'll populate in here, but once you put it here, it'll automatically populate in the software here, and it says, enter the smaller of line 5 or line 8, right? So let's see, what's line 5? Line 5 is 1,160,000 or 3,300. So obviously it's 3,300, right? And then it says business income limitation. Now the business income limitation, this is a calculation that's done, and like I said, it says see instructions here. The software will know to do that, so you don't have to worry that out. Obviously, this is much less than over here. She has enough income because it's only $3,300, okay? And that's the case. By the way, had she had any other items that she wasn't doing Section 179 or items from the other years, they would go in here, okay? And notice it says here, add all this together in appropriate lines, see, total amounts, okay, $3,300, right? And so that $3,300, that's what's going to wind up on that Schedule C that we looked at. Now, let's go over to Schedule SE. Now, Schedule SE, that's the self-employment tax. That's the part where you have to pay the Social Security part and the Medicaid part of the tax. You have to pay half of it, okay? So, and you have to pay half the Social Security and you have to pay all the Medicaid. So here's her income, right? And then it says here, take that amount and multiply it by 0.9235, okay? And that gives you this amount. So now this amount right here is what you're going to wind up using to multiply the 12.4% by. So, and again, these will automatically fill out. If you're doing this, reading it by hand, line by line, you would just follow the instructions here. Notice this is the maximum amount, $160,200. That's the maximum for Social Security part of the taxes, not the Medicaid part, but Social Security part. Okay. So you come down here. It says subtract. Subtract this 49,230.23. That was the money she earned from her job. That gives you this amount. So she's going to have to pay tax on all of that, right? Then it says enter the smaller of line 6 or line 9, 6 or line 9, and multiply it by 12.4%. That's where you get that. Then it says take line 6 and multiply that by 2.9%. There's the Medicare part, okay? And then right here, there's the total self-employment tax, right? And deduction for the self-employment tax that goes on Schedule 1, 1040, line 15 goes right here, okay? All right, so let's go back to Schedule 1, boom, and there is your Schedule 1. There's the item right there, okay? Adjustments to income, okay? So all of these are deductions, by the way. The top part here, these are additional income. The bottom part here, these are deductions, okay? All right, now let's take a look. What else do we have to take a look at? Okay, let's go to Schedule 2. So Schedule 2, that's where that other tax, you know that on the Schedule SE, that's the self-employment tax. That's the total amount here under additional taxes. And then that other one that we just looked at, that was giving half of it back because, you know, to make it equivalent for self-employed, okay? So far we've got Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule SE. All right, form for 8995. Okay, 8995, what this is that QBI deduction, and basically what the QBI deduction is, okay? is you get to take a certain percentage, and it's 20%. So notice this is the amount that she made, the qualified business income after the Social Security taxes are taken out. Multiply that by 20%, you get that number. Then it says taxable income before the qualified income deduction. Whatever taxable income was before that, this would be wind up getting populated by the software. This is coming in from the W-2, okay? And so this total here, all these different things, this net capital gain, they're subtracting that out, and so this is coming over from the 1040. So let me show you where. 79,867, boom, 79,867. Where are you? Okay, there's the $3,500, and well, I'm not seeing the 79,867. Maybe it's on page 2. No. Why am I not seeing it? 79,867. Ah, the 79,867 is this qualified business income deduction and this total right here. There is your 79,867. This line and this line. Knew it had to be there somewhere. All right, so that's what the QBI deduction is, and then they do, so they give, there's an income limitation. It says multiply line 13 by 20%. So if you go to line 13, in other words, you can't have a QBI deduction that's larger than that amount. So that's the 8662. All right, so now we've got all of our forms filled out, right? All of our forms filled out. So all that stuff would have populated over here, okay? So let's finish up our 1040 now. We'd have a lot of more information in here. There's the additional income from Schedule 1. There's the total income, okay? There's the adjustments to income. That's half the self-employment tax. That's half the self-employment tax right here. Her AGI is 98,232. She's going to itemize her deductions. She gets that qualified business deduction. You add those two together, it's 27,000. So her taxable income is 71,205. Okay. Go to page 2. Calculate the tax. The machine's going to do that automatically. 10,732. Then the self-employment tax right here. Okay. You add those two together. That's how much tax she owed. Well, how much did she pay? Well, on her W-2, when you enter that information for her W-2, which you would enter into the software, it's $5,200. She also paid $13,000 in estimated. So she paid a total of $18,200. She owed $17,300. So she gets a refund of $883. Okay. Anyway, I just want to show you that's how you go through. Make sure you know where everything's going to go. You fill out those, you start with the 1040, filling in the information you can, then you do those schedules, and then it all comes together in the software. All right, folks, that's the first tax return. We'll be back with another one in just a minute.